it's me, Bussy, and welcome back to Hot or Rat. And girl, we've got a lot to cover today. Firstly, we'll be breaking down episode 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race season 14, in which our queens were challenged to create super teaser parodies of season 14. And the runway category was Night of 1,000 J.Los. And then at the end of today's video, we'll be covering the Trixie Mattel Cosmetics versus Kylie Cosmetics drama. And I can't wait to break it all down with you because there were about 1,000 times the judges got it wrong tonight. But first, let's talk about crack. Cracking open the list of the top 200 most commonly used passwords as published by today's video sponsor, NordPass. In the US, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I love you, and sunshine. These passwords are easy to remember, but hackers can crack them in seconds, leading to scary things like identity theft and credit card fraud. But let's be honest, more complex passwords are a pain in the crack and even harder to remember. Thankfully, the NordPass password manager you can download by clicking the link in the description of my video is here to save the day. I love using NordPass because it allows me to securely store all my passwords in one place, accessible from all of my devices with just one master password. Plus, their secure password generator makes creating new ones a breeze, and autofill makes remembering them a thing of the past. And one of my favorite NordPass features, you can securely share passwords, like let's say for a Netflix login, via an encrypted channel to other NordPass users. So what are you waiting for? Don't get cracked. Download NordPass by clicking the link in the description of my video. And make sure to use code BussyQueen to get 50% off a 2-year NordPass premium plan plus 1 month free. And sleep easy because NordPass Premium comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thanks NordPass for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get into it. First up, and in no particular order tonight, grab the syrup. It's Kornbread. So, based on Kornbread's acting challenge in this episode, I was actually gooped and gagged to see her in the bottom. I was getting very safe performance from her. The first half was not so funny, but I think it ended on a strong note with like pulling the pork chop out of her wig and her line where she goes, "Y'all had a fat bitch out there running," and she's like running on the track. All that said, reading into the edit a little bit, I do think the judges and producers know that Kornbread has been giving us some really great talking head confessionals, and ultimately more screen time would only be good for her and the show in general. So I think this was more so an opportunity for the judges to talk to and give critiques to Kornbread because they really see something in her and want her to go further in the competition later. But that's all just a theory. A drag race theory. I'm gonna give her performance in the challenge a hot. And on the runway, Kornbread serves us an immaculate slice. I think this is easily Kornbread's best runway so far. It is a great recreation of the original J.Lo look, which is from the Met Gala 2018. And I really love that she chose something by nature that was a little more theatrical and kind of had some camp value that she could amp up on the runway. Being the snack of the season is undoubtedly a heavy burden, but it's a cross she carries well. This look is hot. And across the pond and back again, Lady Camden. In the challenge, I thought she was completely overlooked. Then again, we are pretty early in the season where it's hard for the judges to say something to every single one of the queens. She had, I thought, hilarious one-liners though, all of which played into this general theme of her kind of making fun of herself for being British but participating in an American reality competition TV show, calling herself America's sweetheart, referencing tea, and so on. I give her performance a hot. On the runway, she's giving us J.Lo at the CFDA Fashion Awards in 2019. So this may be contentious, but this is kind of an iffy one for me, mostly because I'm not super in love with the original look. Like, does J.Lo look gorgeous in it? Yes, but she could walk out there in a fucking diaper and I would be eating it up. Ew. We don't eat diapers here, but I would eat up J.Lo in a diaper. Anyways, by nature, I just don't love this recreation, although I will acknowledge, technically speaking, it is a good recreation. Some small critiques here though, I don't think that it was smart for Lady to match that silky fabric into the top, and the ponytail is not as snatched as J.Lo's, but ponytails and drag are hard, so we'll let it pass. Right into the rot zone. Next up, Bosco. This was another queen that really opened up tonight. She kind of played like a slutty, dumb, blonde character, which I didn't actually totally expect from her. And as dumb as she played, I think she showed us that she actually has quite the smarts in comedy. This performance was hot. On the runway, she's giving us J.Lo with the 2009 Golden Globes in a golden dress. So this look is more, I would say, inspired by than an exact replica, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think the runway themes for these Night of 1,000 whatevers is generally vague in that respect. However, when everyone else is going for exact replica down to the hairstyle, Bosco does stick out a little bit. And other queens like Daya even changed their makeup for this runway. Bosco said, no, I'm gonna give you a Bosco face with a hair that J.Lo would never wear. My other critique here is that since J.Lo was kind of known for simple, chic sophistication, I'm seeing those big, chunky earrings with this sleek golden gown and just not seeing them work well together. All things considered, the dress and look in general for Bosco, I would give a hot. But as a recreation of a look and inspired by and trying to serve and give J.Lo, it's a rod. Next up, I cannot believe she's real. Kerri Colby. In the challenge concerning Kerri, I think the judges were right though. She wasn't funny, which is funny considering she actually had one of the funniest lines in the entire episode in the beginning when Kornbread and Jasmine were going at it and Jasmine was like, wouldn't it be crazy if there was another ball? And Kerri just like looks around the other queen, stares right at her and goes, wouldn't it be crazy if you learned how to be quiet? That interaction told me that Kerri is a funny person, but I guess she hasn't figured out how to transfer that natural banter slash shade into a sketch comedy performance. Where were the jokes? This performance was a rat, but on the runway, girl, green is a good thing. Bitch, what in the world? I mean, firstly, you can't beat wearing J.Lo's dress on a night of 1,000 J.Lo's runway. I don't know how it happened, what designer she knows, or I don't know, maybe she's friends with J.Lo. But she looks great in it, there's no denying that. There are some small differences that don't really matter. I did peep in these two looks though, being the belt buckle used to attach those two pieces in the center, and the shoes. Kerri swaps for those worked beautifully though, and I mean, you wouldn't notice unless you were zooming in on this stuff. This look is hot. Next up, looking good and feeling Jorgeous. When the challenge critiques rolled around, I genuinely forgot that Jorgeous was in the challenge, or in the episode at all. They kept her hidden tonight. But I will say what they showcased of Jorgeous wasn't necessarily funny, but it also wasn't necessarily bad. It just kind of existed. And to that point, for someone that faded completely into the background of the entire challenge, I think it may be worth considering putting them into the bottom. Just a thought. She gets a rot for me in the performance. And on the runway, she's giving us J.Lo at the Super Bowl in 2020. I do love that she chose something seen literally worldwide. This is a famous look because this performance was everything. And what was so great about the original J.Lo look was that the fabric between all those little mirror shards is nude illusion. And not only nude illusion, but like a wet, oily shimmer nude illusion. I know it's difficult to find the proper skin tone match for nude illusion fabric, but at the same time, if we're making custom outfits for Drag Race runways, recreating a very specific look, I think it's important that those small details are paid attention to. Because while this look would be great in a club and I would gag if she was dancing on stage, yada yada yada, it just doesn't read the same way on the Drag Race stage. So for that reason, it's gonna be a rat. Kudos to her though for the way she delivered the look on the runway. Girl, she was dancing her ass off. Next up, the oatmeal raisin cookie of drag. Jasmine Kennedie. So hate or love what happened in this episode, Jasmine gave us some great reality TV. The rant into the next day talking about how she should have won the original ball and like wondering if there was going to be another ball and talking over people talking to her about talking too much. Loved every second of it. In the challenge, she and her group played into all of that talking drama, which I think was smart and was actually, I think, a shining moment for Jasmine, and she continued to deliver a fairly strong performance in her skit. She got direct laughs out of me for what she was doing and enhanced her fellow group members' performances. Not a ton of lines from her, but overall she did impress, and I'm gonna give her a here. On the runway, she's giving us J.Lo at the AMAs in 2015. I believe she said the original is Christian Dior, and I'll be honest, this is not a silhouette that I particularly love. I think something about it, to me, personally, feels slightly matronly, and I just don't vibe with that, if you know what I'm saying. However, Jasmine looks gorgeous in this. She looks like a freshly plucked wet strawberry from the gardens, just glistening in the sunlight. It is an almost exact replica, if not the original. The amount of rhinestones on this one compared to the original, it's insane. One small critique though, like I said earlier, I know ponytails and updos in drag are hard, but this lace line is harder. I'm going to hell. But this look is hot. Next up, welcome to Vanilla Flavor Town. It's Maddy Morphosis. In the challenge, I was pleasantly surprised to see Maddy starting to come out of her shell. You could tell that she was finally having fun, and she only had 2 lines, but I loved what I saw. Her entrance line with like the dancing queen is here, and then the crazy emotional crying confessional that she did at the end. I was like, girl, whoa, wow, I'm loving it. Maddy hasn't shown us everything yet, but what we're starting to see I'm liking, and this performance was hot. On the runway, she's giving us J.Lo with the 2021 inauguration. Is the look a recreation? Yes. Does it give off that same vibe? Yes. However, one simple thing that I think she could have done to really make this outfit serve CUNT would have been taking off the gloves and the hat like J.Lo eventually did at the inauguration to reveal a perfectly laid wig and some fierce white nails. And we're certainly not getting the elegance in that military walk, girl. Gonna leave this one at a rat. Next up, Deja Skye, who came out on top tonight. Concerning her performance in the challenge, she had a lead role and took up a lot of screen time, specifically at the end when she was going on about being born really young, which was, to her credit, a funny joke. But I would have said her performance was safe overall because I think she finished a lot stronger than she started. So I would give this performance a soft hot. On the runway though, and I'm really not trying to be shady here, but I thought I was on crack when Ross looked her in the eyes and told her that he wanted to call J.Lo to tell her that her outfit should have looked like this instead of what it looked like. Bitch, what? I mean, this look wasn't bad, but it certainly was not better than what J.Lo was wearing. My only issue with the look is that it's just more of the same from Deja, that flowy, very crowded feeling that we get from all of her silhouettes. I just want some looks from her that are a little less walking down the runway in a snuggie. Overall though, I will say that my critiques related to this look are more related to wanting to see some versatility from Deja rather than critiquing this actual look, because I think she did a decent job of recreating it in her own flavor. So I'm gonna give this a soft hot. Next up, Daya Betty. So I have mostly avoided the comparison of Daya to Crystal Method because I don't think it's totally fair to be comparing Drag Race queens on any given season to queens from prior seasons. That said, what we saw from Daya in the challenge tonight was some method acting, bitch. I don't know how, but whatever she was doing with the hair and extra exaggerated makeup made her look more like Crystal than anything else we have seen from her. But what we saw was really funny. I think it was very smart to play into the Maddy coming out as straight thing and her also coming out as straight in a dramatic, untucked moment. She proved she's funny, but based on Ru's comments about her being a Xerox copy of a Xerox copy, I think that she is really going to have to test the waters and try some new things on the show, or the judges are just never gonna see her in the light that they should be seeing her in. This performance was hot. And on the runway, wow. I think she made this. I'm not 100% sure, but I think she did. She is an excellent seamstress. The attention to detail in the recreation is perfect. And I love how long this outfit made her legs look. My only complaints, you probably already know here, is gonna be the hair. She kind of went in this strange middle ground with the hair where it was like, I'm gonna wear brunette because it's J.Lo, but it's not actually properly styled like J.Lo would wear it. Hot for the fit, rot for the hair. Next up, is there anything this bitch can't do? It's Angeria. I think by a mile, she was the best in her group. So funny at every single turn. And it's shocking to see somebody this good, not only at drag, but at comedy and at performing, like literally just everything. She's just perfect. For someone, as she says, that has never acted, the way she delivered facial and physical comedy throughout the entire thing. I mean, even the simple things at the very end when she's like crying with Deja and she just like keeps it going in these different tonations. She is so good. Obviously, I think this performance was hot. And in the runway, she's giving us J.Lo at the Met Gala in 2019. Now, if you remember, this Met Gala was actually camp themed, which I guess we could say in the gay community was quite a contentious year for Met Gala themes because most of the people at the Met Gala were not serving camp. Like even Nicki Minaj, a woman who arguably built her career on camp, was quoted saying that she didn't know what camp was.
You've pulled out so many campy looks throughout your career. Do you have a favorite music video camp look?
I have no clue, because up until today, I had no idea what camp was.
It was a strange time. J.Lo's look here though, was it camp? Maybe for J.Lo, but as a participant of and a lover of the art of drag, I wasn't gagging. Met Gala theme aside, what Angeria did here in terms of recreating the look, I think was exactly what the brief asked for, and Angeria looked, once again, beautiful on the runway. Angeria from the block gets a hot. Next up, it's hunting season. Bird hunting season. We learned that Alyssa had a nice little package, allegedly, and that her dad was gay in a really heartwarming story time while they were getting ready for the challenge this week. And I absolutely love learning more about this queen because I think there is so much there that's interesting. She's so talented and perfect and beautiful, but I really think Drag Race just didn't know what to do with her for whatever reason. Was Alyssa funny in the challenge? Not for me. She was critiqued for being one note, and yeah, she played a really eccentric character that didn't land. At least she put in the effort, but the way that she bombed so hard, I think made it really easy for the team to like pick her out in the group as somebody who did bad. So all of that considered, I can't really be mad that they put her in the bottom because she wasn't funny. This performance was a rat. And the runway look she's giving us is J.Lo from the 2018 Billboard Awards. When she came out originally, as I was watching the episode, I wasn't sure what to think, but as I spent more time with it and I saw the reveal and that silver bodice with the necktie, I fell in love and realized I think she did something no one else did on the runway tonight, and that was take an original reference look and elevate it and really bring it into the dragosphere. Like, let's give the girl some credit. This look is hot. Next up, what's her story? It's Orion. In the challenge, she was overall a little flat for me. I just didn't really get much at all from her. She was another queen that was kind of in the background, except for the one time she was in the shot and she like made out with herself in the mirror, which like sounds funnier than I think it actually was. This was a rot for me. On the runway, she is giving us J.Lo at an HRC dinner in 2013, and I think the gown that she created here is a good recreation, but overall, I think when you put all the pieces together, it's not jaw-dropping, it's not like, whoa, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's okay. And honestly, I hate to keep saying it, but the hair is so important for J.Lo. This is not a J.Lo hair. Overall, this look is a warming up for me. I would have loved to have seen a little more personality both in the actual look that she created and in the way that she served it on the runway. And finally, there's a pill for everything these days, even Willow's. Firstly, I'm gagged and gooped at the way they faked us out on the flip-flops on the runway. Wow. But even more so, I'm impressed that Willow thought to bring her flip-flops onto the runway to have Rupaul yell at her for wearing the flip-flops. That was genius, because she knew that was gonna be a contentious look to serve as an entrance look, and bringing them into the rest of the competition like that as a running joke, she is so smart. Plus, everything else she did was just comedy gold. This performance was hot. And on the runway, she's giving us, as she says, an ugly J.Lo look from 1998 at the Grammys. And as divisive as I think the style from this era was, I think it looks great on her. A small thing I did notice on this runway is that I think the hair that she wore here is the same from the second look she wore last week in the ball. But I'm not really bothered with it here as much as I have been bothered by hair, because this is good hair. Like, it at least matches the reference of what J.Lo was wearing and looks good on her. This look is like so totally hot. So the judges decided to give Angeria the win tonight, which I think was not necessarily the wrong decision. I believe it could have gone to her or Willow, which is crazy because whoever they gave it to tonight, it would have been their second win already in episode 4 in a competition that started with 14 people. And our bottom two from this episode are Kerri and Alyssa. First, I have to say, this is a wild bottom two. This is easily like the most beautiful pairing of people I think that has ever existed in the competition in the bottom two at the same time. Wow. And I never would have predicted that these two would have been in the bottom of this competition so early. That said, I do think that both of their positions here are justifiable. However, my bottom two probably would have been Kerri and Jorgeous. But onto the actual lip sync, I did react to the runways and lip sync over on my Patreon at patreon.com/BussyQueen. That's my members only website where my Patreon family gets exclusive member benefits like early access to my channel, access to exclusive videos, access to the Bussy Queen Discord server, and more. You can join by clicking the link in the description of this video. See you there. But I did some analysis here, and I noticed a lot of people online were saying that Alyssa deserved to win the lip sync. I want to present to you some evidence which shows maybe she didn't. I think Alyssa unarguably started off stronger in this lip sync. We can see Kerri being a little bothered or maybe cautious of the dress that she's wearing. Remember, this is J.Lo's dress. But Alyssa lost me at two key points. The first was when she walked to the back of the stage and starts taking off her ponytail. It was lasting for way too long. I don't know if she didn't know the words in that portion of the song or if she just couldn't get that headband out of her hair. And then time number two was the time that she spent fumbling with her cash money prop, which like, yeah, it sucks that the prop wasn't working the way she wanted it to, but she lingered on it like she did the ponytail for too long. And then you can kind of see her feeling a little defeated after that second fumble that she has in the lip sync. And I think Kerri really picked up the pace here and had two funny moments near the end. She did the little bouncing Vogue thing and did the play my effing song like to the beat and made it funny and made Rue laugh. So it didn't all surprise me that Rue kept Kerri, and well, Alyssa had chocolate. But as always, I'd love to hear what y'all thought about this episode down in the comments below. Who deserved to win, be in the bottom two, and who should have won the lip sync. Overall, for as strange as some of the judging was, I have to say I particularly enjoyed this episode. I thought both groups did a pretty good job, with group one being the clearly better group between the two. As for my hottest hots, on the runway it goes to Alyssa Hunter, and in the challenge, Willow Pill. For the runway hottest hot, my patrons voted for Willow Pill. Now let's dive into the Trixie versus Kylie drama. A couple days ago, Kylie Cosmetics announced their Valentine's Day collection with some product packaging that looked eerily similar similar to Trixie Cosmetics product packaging. There were some lipsticks and heart-shaped components, just like Trixie's lipsticks and glosses and heart-shaped components. And the whole campaign has this kind of retro-style girly font, I would say, similar to what Trixie's has as her main brand's font. And Trixie Mattel was quick to respond to the situation with this TikTok. However, was Trixie Mattel Cosmetics copied? Was there girl-on-girl crime? I'm not so sure. We have to acknowledge that Trixie certainly didn't invent heart-shaped lipstick tubes, and I think copywriting the heart as a design would probably be impossible. I mean, I'm not saying Trixie's components aren't custom made and that she didn't work hard to get them done the way they are done, but this type of thing can be ordered from these like mass wholesalers over in China for pretty cheap. I also want to point out that the font that they're using for this campaign, which is similar to Trixie's, is also a font that's kind of trendy right now. We saw it on, for example, the 2019 Say So single cover from Doja and Nicki Minaj. And also just want to point out that that's kind of how trendy products go. Things get copied, they get slightly changed and readapted and resold and rebranded. That's the tea. And it's also clear that Trixie knows this, and I think her response to the situation was genius. Making a TikTok where she didn't necessarily call something out while at the same time kind of calling it out, or I guess we should say brought attention to the situation, was the perfect way to advertise her lip gloss and galvanize her fan base to go buy some. I also want to point out that if, and I'm saying if, Kylie Cosmetics did copy, it's highly unlikely that Kylie had anything to do with it because she sold 51% of her company 2 years ago. So just, you know, sit around in comment sections talking about how Kylie did this or that. Girl, guess what? She probably didn't even know about it. Anyways, that's all I have for you today, and I want to say thank you so much for watching today's video, and I also want to thank today's video sponsor, NordPass. Make sure to give their link a click in the description of this video to help support the channel and protect your online password world. It is of the utmost importance. And finally, I want to say thanks so much to my generous patrons who make my channel possible. And I want to give a special shout out to Jill Friedman, who's just joined my Patreon at the hot tier, and Meow Luna, Lucas Medina, and Jay Natalie have all just joined my Patreon at the hottest hot tier. And like Elial, Angel, Cyrus, Alicia, Hector Simancas, JB, Joseph, Josh Marchant, JP in Dallas, Laura, Lisette, Matthew Burns, Matthew Bauer, Maxila Wow, Miss F, Neely, Scooby Snacks, Sailor, Steven, Tom Jaco, Tom Young, Topher, Triton, Wheelie, and Yeejeet, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier. See you later, love ya,